Uh, well, I didn't move myself to the other side of the planet to half-ass it. I wouldn't say I have small goals. I don't know what the process looks like, really. I'm just trying to learn and get better every single day. And I hope opportunities will come along. Well, opportunities will come along. I just hope I'm ready for them when they do.
Hello everybody and welcome to That Sweet Pop. My name is Dion and he is Brad Lewis. Welcome along to the show. A little bit later today, we're going to be talking with Spartan, a Kiwi wrestler currently doing big things in the UK scene. You're going to want to stick around for that one. But Brad, first off, you've been traveling around the country following the Black Caps for Sport Nation, that decimation of the English one-day international side. Is this team in England, have they got one eye on the Ashes, or are the Black Caps just too good in this format?
So England's not a particularly good one-day team, right? Like they've won 3 of their last 11, so that's a little bit of it. They just quite haven't figured out how to transfer Bazball into the 50-over game. Very good T20 side, very good Test side. So it's a bit of that, but it's also the fact that this is a New Zealand cricket team, that 50-over team that knows how they want to play the game. They bowled particularly well. They had a few issues with the top order, Dion, but overall, 3-0 series sweep. Good stuff.
Yeah, man, I'm looking forward to this Ashes too, but this is not a cricket podcast. Perhaps that's a side hustle. We'll start a little bit down the track. What I do want to talk about, though, Brad, is on Saturday night, the induction of Te Tahi Vini Dunn into the New Zealand Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame. Now, of course, we interviewed Te Tahi just a few weeks ago. Really special night, heartfelt praise from the local wrestling scene. The live crowd was so behind Vinny and really wrapped him in a glow of appreciation.
Good.
So very good night. Very proud of my friend. Very, very proud of someone who has really contributed a lot to New Zealand professional wrestling. What I did enjoy the most, though, about last night is, again, this is obviously a Hall of Fame induction that Te Tahi Vini Dunn has had nothing to do with behind the scenes and under the hood. So seeing him fret backstage at where the production was all sorted and things had been the T's had been crossed and the I's had been dotted was a bit of fun to see. I just said, brother, sit back, wait for your music. It's your time to shine, and shine he certainly did. What was also really cool yesterday, Brad, I haven't passed this on to you yet, is the amount of people that came up to me before, during, and after the show, just letting me know that they've been following this podcast. They catch it every Monday night or throughout the week, and some really cool feedback. So good to know people are enjoying what we're doing.
That is awesome. Didn't get to see the show. I was in Wellington for the cricket, but I've checked out the Instagram story and saw a few interesting sort of twists and turns that happened along the way. Great to see a little bit of Dion. Great to see a little bit of Vinny's speech. Like you said, what a true gentleman and what a legend of the industry. I see Amber Saint has returned. She's back to action. She's turned heel, which is great. I think that's where she sits best in the realm of wrestling. She's got a lot of charisma, and I think she can definitely be a good foe for Mighty Maya as she tries to build this title reign of hers. Very important title reign, as you know, women's wrestling in New Zealand. So I thought that was really, really interesting. And Mr. Burns with the failed cash in. I was actually, a little bit of me was hoping that he might cash in and win the title. I did see someone at one of the events a couple of events ago saying, if Mr. Burns cashes in and wins, we riot, in the old John Cena style. But looked like a thoroughly entertaining show. I'm gutted I missed it, but I'll definitely be at the next one as long as I'm not required at some cricket ground in New Zealand.
Yeah, great show. IPW are killing it. And of course, Aotearoa Wrestling with a big show next week as well. We'll talk about
King of the Kiwis
a little bit later on in the show. But in the meantime, let's head to our top story. Well, CM Punk is your new World Heavyweight Champion. Jade Cargill, your new WWE Women's Champion. We'll get into those matches in a little bit. But Saturday night's main event this past weekend, what an incredible show this was. There was such, the big fight feel is a phrase that gets thrown around. This show felt like a card full of big fight feel. 4 championships on the line and 4 really great matches, I thought. And it kicked off with Cody Rhodes defending the WWE Championship successfully against Drew McIntyre. Now, we saw on SmackDown this whole DQ/countdown advantage being taken away from Cody Rhodes. We thought this was going to play a pretty big part in the match, and it did in the storytelling. It did a great job, I think, of playing off that part of the match early on with Drew trying to persuade Cody outside the ring for a potential count out, trying to get him to push the boundaries of rule breaking for the loss. Man, this was a really great match, and I liked the finish. I liked the championship belt was involved in the finish. Makes me think that there's going to be a little bit more with Drew McIntyre and Cody to come. I was, however, surprised that Drew didn't win the WWE Championship. There was that one step.
Really?
Yeah, it was, man. I thought that one step into the finish, the Claymore, I thought that was going to be a big surprise finish. And I would have been completely satisfied with the match if it ended there. Well, what were your thoughts on the match?
Great match. Okay, so bell to bell, great match. Was thoroughly entertained and enjoyed it. Thought the guys have tremendous chemistry, work really well together. I don't think Drew and Cody have ever had a stinker, right? So the wrestling side of things was great. I was hoping for a title change. I've mentioned on this show many times that I think Hangman Page is a stale, like he's only been champ for a couple of months, right? But I think AEW have a real problem in the fact that they don't have a champion who can grab attention outside of the sickos. Now, Cody's the polar opposite to that, but I feel like his character's stale. And if there's Drew McIntyre is many things, stale is not one of them. And if you look at the last 2 years, he's pretty much the same dude, but he's just so captivating and just connects with people. And I kind of feel like he's earned this. And I don't think Drew McIntyre particularly cares that he's probably not the champion as we record this, Dion. He's a company man, and they can put him in any position and he'll achieve. I just feel like the last 2 years he's been the MVP, Dion. He's had great matches. He's had great programs. He's never had a bad match. And I just kind of feel like even if it was a short reign, like we're talking like a month, remember when Edge took the title from John Cena all those years ago, cashed it and only had the title for a very, very short amount of time. Kind of feel like this could have pumped up Cody a little bit to fight from underneath against the champion and Drew, who maybe outsmarted him by getting Cody disqualified and Cody losing the title because that was the stip that was added on SmackDown, right? So disappointed with the creative, but look, I don't know where this is the thing, right? We can say, oh, I wish this has happened, but we don't know where they're going, right? We don't know what they have in mind. I think I was hoping for Cody Punk at Mania. I now probably feel like it's more likely to be Roman and Cody, I'd imagine. But yeah, let's see where it all plays out. I'm disappointed for Drew because I really, really wanted him to win, and I feel like Cody doesn't need to be champ. And I don't know, do you feel, Dion, that where this is all going is setting up for a Cody turn sort of mid-year next year, maybe even earlier than that? Like, he's definitely trying to add more edge to his character, and I wonder if they want to get the heel turn through before the crowd turns on him, because that's going to happen, right? And Drew's even said that they're going to turn on you, Cody.
Yeah, there's huge potential for it. I think the problem that WWE has is who steps up to the mantle of the big face of the company. And I'm not convinced CM Punk is the guy. As much as a CM Punk fan as I am, I mean, Cody is absolute white meat babyface, right? And he is,
he is
as
mate.
Busy as John Cena ever was in terms of media appearances.
Dominic Mysterio, anyone? But
in terms of media appearances and in terms of being a real role model for children and having these kids really look up to him. So it wouldn't surprise me if we're having the similar sort of conversations that we had about John Cena in terms of when's this guy going to turn heel. It also wouldn't surprise
Might
me
not
if he
even
did turn
happen.
heel in the short term. I will disagree with you on one point, though. I think
Okay.
Drew McIntyre does care that he's not WWE champion. The guy's probably thinking, what more can I do? I'm over as hell. I'm telling a good story.
Yeah.
He's got the look. He's got the charisma. He's fantastic on the microphone. He kills it in the ring. I think potentially, and again, we don't know where it's going, I think potentially he may have been a victim of 2 title changes that just had to happen at Saturday night's main event. 3 probably would have been overkill. So who knows? Maybe if things were a little bit different, Drew would have been walking away with the championship here. Perhaps at Survivor Series, there's one last time for Drew against Cody, and he picks the championship up there. We're going to have to wait and see, but it will boggle my mind if this man isn't a WWE champion sometime in the next year.
Can I, and look, I don't know where this was positioned on the show, but we had the tournament announced for John Cena's final opponent. No one this year has mentioned Drew McIntyre. Nobody. And I kind of feel like, as I see where everyone's positioned, I know Gunther's the rumored right guy, and John Cena, cheeky little promo that he cut Dion with the voiceover. It'll be guys from my past. It'll be WWE Raw stars, SmackDown stars, NXT stars. Probably like I imagine a Joe Hendry might be involved in this tournament as well. You got 16 spots to fill, and he threw out that little, and maybe people that don't even work here, which I guess is going to get the Adam Copeland rumors and stories and the Chris Jericho stuff probably in fast forward, Dion. So look, let's just see where that lands. I don't want to throw any out there, but I would like to propose to Paul Levesque and his creative team that Drew McIntyre, I think, would be a tremendous last opponent for John, because over the course of maybe 2 weeks, when they can build towards this match on December 13th, the tournament will be over. I think 2 weeks is scheduled to be over before the match. Drew and John would have great promos. He's the anti-John Cena in many ways, Drew McIntyre. And John will no doubt want to put someone over. And, you know, if Drew can't win a title, why can't? And then can you imagine how great he'd be as a heel? He's like, I'm the guy who retired John Cena. I'm always going to be his last match. I beat him. Like, and I know Dominic's name's been thrown around. Gunther's name's been thrown out. All these names. But I would like to put my vote in for the Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre for John Cena's final.
That's a good
opponent.
call, man. That's a real good call, and perhaps that could be the bone that gets thrown to him for not winning the WWE Championship. I mean, to be the man that you can't say he would retire John Cena, but essentially send Cena out the door with a loss.
But he's a heel, so he can lie.
Of course,
you know. Yeah. So yeah.
And speaking of heel, match number 2 on the card: Jade Cargill, dominant victory over Tiffany Stratton. In many ways, this match reminded me of Brock Lesnar and John Cena in its dominance, especially now near the back end of the match. It seemed like Tiff just was not in it. And we were calling for something different from Tiffany Stratton. We've got it. We've seen some more emotion from her and the lead up to this match. The build was a lot shorter than I would have hoped. But what I really enjoyed was the fact that Jade Cargill used that injury that she got from September as the catalyst for, okay, now I'm going to get after what I want. This woman is a megastar. I think she's the Amazon that WWE always wanted Nia Jax to be. The difference with Jade Cargill is, yes, she's got the look. She's got the physicality. No, she's not going to be the most incredible technical wrestler in the world. She doesn't need to be. I think she's on her way to mega stardom. I'm glad they pulled the trigger. They've pulled it at the right time.
Me too.
And I'm kind of hoping that this might also be a catalyst for Tiffany turning heel sometime soon. It's the voice for me. Yeah, it's graining. It's graining. And she did great work as a heel in NXT. So I agree with you. And I think she's a natural heel right down. Like Charlotte Flair's a natural heel. I think Tiffany Stratton is as well. And speaking of natural heels, that's what Jade Cargill should have been from the jump, right? Because she looks like a scary human being. And I think the ultimate goal here is a Bianca Belair WrestleMania match. And that's what we're going to see.
But can I disagree with you a little bit? You disagree with me before, and I'm going to disagree with you again. I thought the video package for this match told a magnificent story. It went all the way back to their SummerSlam match where Tiffany won with a little bit of skullduggery, hand on the rope and all that sort of stuff. And it was the sort of catalyst for Jade's heel turn. And we saw the Nia Jax pull out and then the count out. And they told the story of Jade's sort of transition from a friendly challenger to frustrated challenger to I'm done with this woman. It's time for me to be a monster. And you're right. I think the inspiration for this match was Brock Lesnar and John Cena at SummerSlam 2014, 13, whenever it was. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's kind of where I feel Jade should have been booked from the jump as this like dominant heel, but she's much better in the ring than she was 18 months ago, 19 months ago when we saw her for the first time. And I think she deserves this. And as I said, we're on the fast track now, I believe, to a Bianca Belair return and potentially a WrestleMania match down the road, which would be exciting. It's just a shame Naomi got pregnant. Well, it's not. Congratulations to them. I feel like that was probably a triple threat match in the making. But look, congratulations to Jade. What an awesome moment for her. And just again, I'm going to have my weekly grump at Dave Meltzer, who commented a couple of days ago that the rumors were that WWE were going to make Jade Cargill the champ because they just want to shove one up AEW. And that's like, come on, Dave. It's got nothing to do with it, mate. It's got nothing to do with it. So
that's, that's just weird. And that's also a slap in the face to everything that Jade Cargill has done since she's entered WWE. Again, no, she's not going to be the one that's going to be putting on Matt Classics that we're going to look back on in 20 years' time. But she is an incredible athlete, such a great look, charisma, and she's going to be a monster heel, man.
Yeah. And Andre the Giant didn't have 5-star classics, but goddamn was he believable, right? Like you believed everything he did hurt. And like, let's keep her matches short. I would love to see her have a dominant win over Nia Jax, like just roll through Nia, right? For her first title defense. Beat Tiffany in a rematch, but just beat everyone in the division until maybe at the Royal Rumble, we get a Bianca Belair return. She's the betting favorite for the Rumble at the moment. I think she wins. Let's hold her back until that moment. And let's go into that match not knowing if Bianca can overcome the odds of a dominant champ. So Jade Cargill should now become the most dominant figure in the women's division across both brands, 3 brands.
Yeah. Well, next on the show, Dom Mysterio, man, this guy just keeps on winning.
You put Dom a smile on my face when you say that name, Dion.
I know. Everyone does.
Yeah.
Rusev and Penta both tried to challenge here for the Intercontinental Championship.
Great match.
Did challenge, but unsuccessfully. How good is the chair spot? I never get sick of the chair spot. What I really liked about it this time was the referee saying, there's no DQ, mate. He can go for his life with this chair, and go for his life he did. That Penta driver on Rusev, did you see it?
Yeah, unbelievable.
So good.
Yeah.
So good. I think often in these triple threats, there is a concern that there could be a third wheel in the match. And the third wheel could have been Penta in this. To me, he was always an outside chance and probably wasn't going to take the Intercontinental Championship. I thought Rusev was actually in with a reasonable shot. Either way, I'm glad that Dom is still the champ. 195 days and counting.
Oh, mate. Like, I said that to you just before that. You said Dominic Mysterio, and I smile because I think of the reaction to that bloke when he made his debut, and people were like, this is nepotism at its absolute worst. This guy's got absolutely nothing. And I think we need to give a lot of credit to a couple of people, and they're Rhea Ripley and Damian Priest, right? Because and Finn Balor as well, because they've really, I think, developed Dom into the character that he is, and Liv took him over the top, right? So I think a lot of credit goes to those people, but also Dom, because he's got himself over. Can we flash back just a touch over 2 years ago when he cut promos and he couldn't actually say anything because the crowd was booing him? Like, he had that go away heat. He turned that into, he now gets one of the top 3 pops when his music hits every show. and he's believable. He's got that Eddie Guerrero cheekiness to him, which I absolutely love. He's got the charisma of his dad. I think he is a future world champion, and I think he's a future Money in the Bank winner. In fact, he'd be my favorite to win Money in the Bank next year. And what a Money in the Bank champ he would be. And I hope they keep him in this role of sneaky, a characterized heel who's loved by the fans. Do you know what I mean by that? Like, let's not turn this dude into a white meat babyface. Like Eddie Guerrero was never a white meat babyface. He always cheated, right? I want Dominic to be that guy. Okay, so have him wrestle heels and faces, which he's been doing through the course of this title reign, which has made it even better. And he's the mega champ as well. There is the rumor going around that John Cena is going to be the person to take the title off him. I hope that doesn't happen. John Cena doesn't need to be Intercontinental Champion. Keep the title on Dom until the time is right to take it from him, if that makes sense. And I don't think the time is right now. I don't know who the right guy is to do that. As for the Mega Championship, look, I think in AAA they're heading towards Penta versus Dom, and from the last couple of shows that I've seen, which will be great. But what a match! Rusev has been on fire from a match standpoint since probably, I think he was a little soft when he came in, like didn't really connect. But I think that sort of feud mid-year, Dion, that he had with Sheamus really brought him out of his shell, and he's had banger after banger, to quote Sheamus, since. And it was just an enjoyable 20 minutes. Really, really loved it. Penta is just phenomenal. I'm gagging for him and Rey Fenix to team up again. I know that's probably not where WWE want to go, but he is just an unbelievable talent. Just thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't speak highly enough of Dom. And I just want to see him keep holding that title and doing it the way he does. And the ringing the bell thing, you knew it was Dom when the bell rang, like everyone did. And it was just the ultimate, like, sneaky dickhead heel thing to do. And I absolutely am all here for it. Give me more Dom, please.
Yeah. And I'm glad they're not rushing him, notwithstanding the fact that he's holding the Intercontinental Championship and the Mega Championship. Just let him simmer away there. And, perhaps come WrestleMania 43, maybe that's his moment to take a world championship. It certainly feels like it's heading that way. But someone that has taken the World Heavyweight Championship, CM Punk. CM Punk defeating Jey Uso for the World Heavyweight Championship.
No skullduggery.
This is a good match. This is a good competitive match. It was paced really well. It felt mildly anticlimactic when Punk did win the title, but I think that's because we've been conditioned to shenanigans, as we've talked about so much in the past few weeks. No Jimmy Uso being involved really surprised me, but it was everything it needed to be. Punk as World Heavyweight Champion is the right call at the right time, especially given Seth Rollins is out. I just hope this is the beginning of a lengthy reign with good feuds, with competitive matches, because sometimes these World Championship reigns by veterans can feel like a nostalgia tour and not feel like a legitimate world title reign. I think Punk will turn this into a legitimate title reign through great matches. I hope he holds through WrestleMania. I hope he defends through WrestleMania and perhaps through to SummerSlam. But right call, and I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, I am as well. I don't think this is probably the way Punk wanted to win this title. I fully believe that potentially that's where him and Seth Rollins were headed at some point. So look, but look, you cannot help injuries. They happen. It's unfortunate, but the WWE had to pivot, which they did a great job with. And I think CM Punk, Dion, I don't know if you agree with me on this, he gave Jey Uso a lot. And I think he went into this match to put the middle finger to the Jey Uso haters, and I think he gave a lot of himself to Jey in that match. And there were a couple of near falls where I was like, Jey's winning the title. The sleeper hold had me convinced.
Yes.
What did you think that was? I thought it was a very unselfish performance from Phil Brooks, CM Punk.
I think it always is, to be fair. I imagine there's guys that he steps into the ring with that he would want to give more of himself to. I'd say Jey would be one of those guys. But, I'm racking my brains right now, and I can't think of a match since his return, especially where he hasn't done just that. I mean, why would he do anything else than than put on the best performance that he can to make his opponent look like $1 million. So when he defeats them, it looks like he can overcome absolutely anything. And
Yeah.
one thing I'm a little bit concerned about, though, to be honest, I'm not too worried about, which I know that sounds contradictory, is this could be it for Jey Uso for a while. I think he's going to languish in the mid card from here. So I'm worried for him, but I don't think I'll miss him at the top of the card. Is I
I'm
guess
not.
what I'm saying.
I think they're adding layers to his character, and again, this is a trust in the process, and let's see how this whole Bloodline 2.0 Bloodline rejig story plays out with Roman, with Jimmy, and whoever else they want to get involved. You know what I would love to see? I would love to see Jacob Fatu's attacker being Jimmy and Jey Uso. That's what I would like to see. You know, like
with the fantasy booking.
I love it, Dion. So, but yeah, look, I'm not worried about Jey because clearly Paul Levesque loves Jey Uso and he's been towards the top of the card since the Rumble. I don't think we're heading back to a Jey Uso competing for a world heavyweight title again anytime soon, but I think we're going to get a pretty sort of mid to tippy top card feud with, or some sort of thing with the storyline going around with whatever they're doing with him and Jimmy. So again, it's let's see this play out. But look, for me, I don't know about you, Dion, but I think an LA Knight Punk feud probably makes the most sense, which they could probably carry through to the Rumble. And I don't know, where would you, of those two guys, do we need a heel in that feud? Could it be tweener, babyface, or do we need someone to turn fully fledged heel and go deep into their arsenal of heelness?
I think they'll stay tweeners. That pair, and I also can't see Punk turning heel anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
There is an argument that it's nice to have a bit of a pigeon pair when it comes to the world champions. One WWE champion who perhaps is a face, the world heavyweight champion perhaps is a heel, just for something a little bit different. Again, who knows what's happening with Cody Rhodes, but I think we're going to have a couple of champions working face for, certainly through Survivor Series, perhaps through to WrestleMania. It's going to be really interesting to see how the next few months play out.
Yeah, and where do Braun and Braun fit into all of this? Where does Roman fit into all of this? And you know, call me intrigued, Dion, because there's many, and look, we're 3 weeks away from Survivor Series, which means we're 3 weeks away from officially the road to WrestleMania, right? So there's many ways they can go with Cody and Punk, with Roman, with Braun, with Brock, with Gunther, with Drew, with all these guys at the top. So I'm intrigued where all these guys land. So just look, let it see play out. I think it's pretty clear from the women's side. I don't know if you agree with me. Jade versus Bianca and Rhea versus Stephanie is probably what we're going to end up from a title standpoint. Liv Morgan may or may not be involved in that as well. But yeah, call me intrigued. I'm ready to sit back and enjoy it, and hope WWE delivers entertaining television and storylines.
So good show, real good show. Saturday night's main event. I think I'm going to go and watch that one again too. I really enjoyed all the matches, all of the happenings.
Me too.
All right, so after the break, we're going to catch up with Spartan, New Zealand professional wrestler, former heavyweight champion, who's now calling the UK home. That's coming up right after the break.
Hey guys, this is Gino Gambino, and you're listening to That Sweet Pop.
Our guest today is a former New Zealand heavyweight champion who gained success with his smash mouth style and unique look, quickly cementing himself as one of Kiwi wrestling's fan favourites. After tasting success and competing throughout the country, he now finds himself in the UK chasing even greater experience on his way to higher honours. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome all the way from Southampton, Spartan. How you doing, man?
Yes.
Fellas.
My daughter's favorite wrestler. What's up?
Hey, don't tell Horace that.
How you doing,
She
man?
loves him too.
Yeah. I'm doing well, thank you, fellas. How you doing?
Yeah, we're good. We're good. We're looking forward to this chat. You've had an interesting journey. We want to dig into it. But hey, look, for fans who may not be familiar with your work, how would you describe Spartan?
Thanks for having me, Dion, and starting with the worst question imaginable. Um, the answer is I don't know. I don't know how I describe myself. I've had a lot of people come up to me and ask me things like, "Well, how do you do? You're really good at doing the character and not overdoing it and really subtle." Man, I'm not. I'm just wrestling. I don't know how to do a character. I'm not trying to do a character. I'm just being myself. So I find it really hard to describe that.
At the same time, like Sam Black, the character, is kind of cool as well. Do you think that maybe at some point the Spartan moniker might be sort of put to the side and you just become Sam Black? Like, because aside from the ring gear, like I connected with you as sort of Sam Black, not so much as Spartan.
Yeah, I agree, man. That's something I've been thinking about. I think since the first day I called myself Spartan, I thought, okay, what about me is really like a Spartan? And the answer has always been not really that much. And I've always tried to figure out, well, do I try and be more like a Spartan? And I'll try these things and it wouldn't really work because I didn't believe it. It wasn't really me. So for years, I've been thinking about what's next for me.
So, when did you realize that stepping into the ring was something that you wanted to do, and how has it impacted your life?
Oh man, as soon as I saw it on TV, I must have been 7 years old. I thought, oh, that's cool. I want to do that. And then, but that feeling never went away. There's a lot of things you look at and you go, oh, I'd do that. But then you forget about it 5 minutes later. Wrestling forever was the thing I go, oh, yeah, I want to do that. And I could do that. Even when I thought it was real and I thought I was going to get smashed, I was like, I still do that. I still want to do that. And just throughout my life. Yeah, and I think, so I started watching wrestling when I was about 7. And then it was when I sort of got to about 14, 15 and my body sort of started to develop and I sort of thought like, oh, actually, I'm getting pretty strong now,
Hmm.
Maybe I actually could do this. And that's when I really started to really want it. And that carried on. And I think for years and years before I knew that New Zealand wrestling was a thing, before it was, a realistic possibility for me, I felt like something was missing in my life for a long time. And that sounds weird because it's like, how can you miss something you've never done before? But I really missed wrestling before I got into it. And that was my upbringing, or not, I wouldn't say my upbringing, but later on, maybe when I started to look at my prospects and my career and what do I want to do with my life, wrestling was always number one. You couldn't tell anyone that because you get laughed at. But that was in my head, I think, since day one.
I still get laughed at these days being a pro wrestling fan, Sam. But whatever. I got laughed at on the weekend by a former New Zealand cricket captain for having wrestling figure collection. But that's just the way that I roll. Shout out to Jeremy Coney. Sam, you talked about how you want to be a wrestler from the age of 7. Then at 14, your body started to develop. What I want to know, and I always forget to ask this question: what was going through your mind when you took that first bump?
I thought, ooh, this isn't as easy as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
I honestly thought, so I started wrestling in NZWW, and I turned up and there were guys like Paul Sayers and Chad Howard and Shane Sinclair and Axel and guys like that. And I honestly thought, walking in, I was 18 years old, I thought, these guys will see me and they'll go, oh, he's the man. Let's get him on the next show. Because I knew that I was going to be a good wrestler, and it was going to happen like that. But then obviously you get there and you're like, oh no, this is hard. This is really hard.
You had a really successful career in New Zealand, and I was looking back at some photos this week in preparation for this interview, and I thought to myself, you could probably describe yourself as a vet now. So this move to UK feels timely. It feels like it is the next best step for you. What drove the decision for you to take this leap of faith and head to the UK?
I think it goes back to that feeling of like something's missing. As much as I loved New Zealand wrestling and I love the wrestlers and I love the fans, there were really times where I felt depressed because I just felt like I was just missing something. There were it
Mm.
just wasn't quite enough for me here or there. Yeah, that affected my mental health, I think, for quite a while, and I
Wow.
couldn't quite figure out why or what was going on. But yeah, I think I just, without sounding arrogant, I knew I had a lot of potential, and I
Mm.
just think New Zealand wrestling is just too small a pond, or it was just too small a pond for me. So when I did my first trip to the UK, I think it was 2022. That was like, it was just opening a door to a realm I didn't know existed.
Mm.
And that in some ways it made my mental health a lot worse, because I just had this little taste of something more, and then you come back to New Zealand
Right.
and it's not the same, and you're missing it. You miss it more and more.
Mm.
So how has just following on from that then, Sam, where are you at now, given like you've been very honest about your mental health, like now that you're in the UK, you're in Southampton, I see your social media, you seem to be wrestling every weekend, which is really, really cool. It's some really cool looking unique venues. How are you feeling mentally about the decision that you've made? And you've obviously left friends and family back home here in NZ, but how is everything going from that state as you build this next progression of your career?
It's amazing. I've only been here a few months, but it feels like it's everything I thought it would be and everything I hoped it would be. Yeah, there's so much wrestling on over here. Like last week I wrestled, I had 6 matches last week, and then this week coming, I had a show last night. As Dion, it's 7 a.m. for me. As Dion knows, I was texting him. I got home, I think, about 1:30 in the morning from a show.
No rest for the wicked, eh?
Absolutely. And I've got another. What have I got? I've got another 6 this week. So
Wow.
it's
So the
it's
UK scene is buzzing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we often think of that period around NXT UK where the UK was the place to be if you weren't in the States. Are you? Do you have that feeling now that there is a huge buzz? Are the local promotions drawing big crowds? Is there a lot of energy around the UK scene?
Yeah, I think the UK is the place to be, regardless. Especially if you're still developing, just because of the size. Really, if you go to the States, it's so huge. There's no such thing as doing a double, but in the UK, you can do a double. You can do 2 shows in one day easily. Because you do a show and then you drive an hour and you're in just a completely different town, completely different city, completely different fans, and you're doing a completely different show.
Mm.
So yeah, the reps you can get over here is insane.
Are you doing a lot of doubles?
At least one a week normally, yeah.
How do you find that?
It's hard. It's fucking hard. But
Mm.
can we swear on the show?
We just did.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
we
cool.
can.
Okay, good. It's really hard. I did one in about an hour's north of Southampton. This is a few weeks ago on a Sunday. I did a show at 2 p.m. and then I drove over to Wales and did a show at I think 6 p.m. or something. And I was like, I got there after the show started and I was in the second match. So I was like running
Wow.
backstage, tugging my boots on. But it's awesome though.
Do you feel, Sam, like you're leveling up? Like we spoke to Jamie Tangata-Ese last week. Great guy, awesome chat.
Yeah, the man.
And he's talked. Yeah, absolutely. I did see the big man shirt there, and he's talked about the excitement of knowing that he's just going to get better by working with new people and more experienced people. And you're wrestling 6 times a week, so I can only imagine against guys that have probably been doing this for as long as you've been alive potentially. So, like, do you feel like you are leveling up almost on a daily basis?
Yeah, absolutely. I think every match I have and every training I have, I can just like almost feels like this like power growing inside me. I'm just like I can just feel I don't know what it is. It's just something about the energy I have in this country. I think I'm so excited to be here. I'm so excited about wrestling. Yeah, I can feel myself getting better and better every day.
Almost sounds like you found a new home. Does it feel that way?
Absolutely. Without sounding cheesy, I think wrestling's always been my home.
What about you're living in Southampton? Have you found football yet? Because Southampton's a very, very big football city, Sam. Their team is currently, I think, in the championship, trying to work their way back to the Premier League. Have you discovered the red and white hoops yet?
So I don't follow football at all. I think it's really boring. You can't say that over here. You get beaten up.
Yeah.
But the only thing I know is if Portsmouth's playing Southampton, don't go outside. That's all I've been told.
Yeah.
Eesh. Sounds like advice to literally live by. You mentioned you're working 6 days a week, which is fantastic. But I'm sure you've also made the leap to the UK so that you can train with different people, more experienced people, and to get a different take on this game, right? I understand you've had an opportunity to train with All Star Wrestling and Joel Redman. What have those experiences been like?
Man, I think All Star Wrestling South it's definitely the best school I've ever been to. Just the level of training there, it's really serious, which is something I've never really felt anywhere else. You get there and you train like athletes. It's quite shocking almost. You get there and everyone's still nice and friendly and you're having a laugh, but then as soon as all right, jump in the ring, ooh, everyone's on, and they're like, oh yeah, cool, we're serious now, and you just keep that vibe going until the end of training, and then it's all right, back to having a laugh again. But it's really serious, intense training, and I mean I've learned a lot. I remember the first training I ever did with Joel. It was in like an attic of a gym, no ring, just some mats on the ground. But I did one training and I walked out and I felt like I was double the wrestler I was already.
Wow.
Yeah.
Insane. What about networking, Sam? And like, I'd imagine you've taken a big leap by doing this, and to get your name out there, where you're just this kid from New Zealand, this Kiwi boy who wants to be a wrestler, which is like, I'd imagine 30, 40, 50,000 other Brits that are out there at the moment, right? It's probably like trying to crack football in England as well, but like, how important is networking and get your name out there and sending video to independent organizations? How does all that work, given I'd imagine there's quite a lot of regional wrestling organizations throughout the UK and in the part of the UK that you're in at the moment?
Yeah, I'm in a very busy area, sort of the southeast or the south coast. There's a whole lot of wrestlers and there's a whole lot of promotions, it's good and bad, but networking is it's almost the only important thing in wrestling. Because you see people on shows that can't wrestle, they suck at wrestling. But you ask yourself, why are they on shows? Because they know someone, they met someone, they introduced themselves, they met the right person or something. So it's the most important thing. You have to get out there. And I'm doing it twice this week. I'm going to shows that I'm not on just to help. You help set up the ring, you introduce yourself to people, and you get your name out there. And you take your gear because there's a good chance that someone pulls out or something and they go, have you got your gear on you? Oh, can you jump in? And you just have to be ready to say yes. That's best case scenario. But even if that doesn't happen, showing your face, meeting people, it's the most important thing.
Has that happened a few times to you where you're like, well, I happen to have my boots on me?
Yeah, it has actually. It has happened before. I'm going to a show next weekend, I think. And I told the promoter, hey, look, I'll just come along and help out if you need. And I got a message from him yesterday and he said, hey, just bring your gear. So, it happens quite a lot.
Awesome. I did notice on your social media there was a pretty big pop when you landed the spear on someone in one of the little videos that you posted. Are people and fans becoming familiar with Spartan Sam Black and some of your work, and you're starting to garner a following much like you had back here in IPW and around the country?
They are actually more than I thought they would. Not a whole lot. I've only been here a few months and I work kind of all over the place. But, I was in Butland. I was in Bognor Regis last night, and a girl came up to me and gave me a high five, young girl, and she goes, I saw you wrestle in Brighton last week, and that's like an hour and a half away. So I was like, how the hell? Like, yeah, but it's where people connect dots in strange ways.
I want to know, About the local fans, though, the UK fans, two-parter. What is the average size crowd that you're working in front of at the moment, generally speaking? And B, how different are the UK fans to, say, Kiwi wrestling fans?
The crowd sizes vary a lot. Much like in New Zealand, I'd say there's a lot of I'd say maybe the average show would be 100 to 150, but it's not uncommon to get shows with 400-500 people. And then obviously there's, it gets bigger and bigger from there. And then, sorry, what was your other question? How do UK fans differ from Kiwi fans?
Yeah, how are the UK fans different from Kiwis?
I would say they expect a bit of a different style, whereas New Zealand fans, they sort of want the American style. I think they sort of expect what they see on TV. Where UK fans, there's a lot more history over here with technical wrestling and, like a British style. So they would expect that a lot more. There's one promotion I wrestle for quite a lot that does rounds matches.
Wow.
And I love those shows, man, because you almost get to play and just figure out what can we do. You're just working holds the whole time, and you have some running.
And, a lot of people listening, sorry, Sam, a lot of people listening won't understand what rounds matches are. They probably haven't heard of it before. Can you dig into that a little bit for us? How does that work?
Yeah, so a rounds match is typically it's a 5-minute round, and the matches will be billed for, it might be 5-minute rounds, 6 5-minute rounds, 10 5-minute rounds. And basically, as it sounds, basically the action goes after 5 minutes. If there's no decision, promoter rings the bell or timekeeper rings the bell. And it's a 2 out of 3 falls situation. So you need to win 2 rounds. So yeah.
That must change how you structure a match hugely compared to, I guess what, again, you described as the American style.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because if you're halfway through a spot and the round ends, what do you do now? So you can't really plan this stuff, I love working there because I don't plan anything. When I go, I might plan 1 or 2, I might plan 1 finish or something, but you just have to go out there, and it's a great experience. You just have to go out there and just start wrestling. And then you listen to the crowd and you go, what are they digging? Well, let's do a little bit more of that. Okay. And here's the other thing. The rounds aren't timed. The timekeeper is guessing 5 minutes.
Oh, how good.
And if he likes your match, I've done 7-8-minute rounds before, So,
yeah.
So if you go, okay, at 4 minutes 50 seconds, I'll put the submission in, and then you hold it until the bell. No, there's none of that. There's none of that. You just have to guess.
Just pulling the curtain a little bit back on your style, are you someone who likes to, because Macho Man Randy Savage, for instance, is famous for literally writing down a match move by move. He had 17 sheets of paper that he presented to Ricky the Dragon Steamboat before their WrestleMania 3 match, which still right now is one of the greatest matches of all time. But are you someone that likes to sort of put a match together on the fly, or do you sort of prefer to sort of know what you're doing next?
My whole career, I've planned matches, to almost like beat for beat, because that's kind of how it was done where I came from.
Sure.
Over here, there's a big culture. There's still a lot of that, but there's a big culture of don't plan things, just learn to work. And I hate that because I find it hard, but it's a great skill to have. And I think that's what makes you a good wrestler, because if you go out there and you know what you're doing, and you go, yeah, we're going to do this, 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 and you start doing this, and the crowd hates it, or they're not buying it, you can't just keep doing what you're doing. You have to listen to the crowd and go, oh, they're not liking this. We're going to make some major changes here, and start finding out what they want. And if you can figure out what they like, then boom, you keep following that path. But if you're too used to structuring things beat for beat, you can't do that.
Sounds like, and please correct me if I'm completely off base, but it sounds like that probably will have been the biggest learning curve for you, getting an understanding of truly listening to the crowd and working things on the fly. Is that fair to say, or has there been something else?
Yeah, no, I think you've nailed it there, Dion. That's that was the hardest thing I found, and I'm still learning it now. You know, I wouldn't say I'm good at that skill yet, but it's definitely the biggest. Yeah, it definitely is the biggest learning curve.
Sam, have you had fish and chips with vinegar yet?
Bit controversial. I don't like fish and chips.
Okay, all right. So body is your temple. I get it. My culture shock when I went to the UK was I went to the fish and chip shop and they gave me vinegar. I was like, "Where's my ketchup? Where's my tomato sauce?" No, we have chips with vinegar here. So I always ask that question to someone in the UK.
Yeah,
But,
well, and on that, what do you miss most about New Zealand from a food point of view?
Sushi.
And why is it a pie?
Yeah, the pies over here are terrible too, actually. Man, there's some pies over here. They sell these what are they called? What do they even call them? Like boutique pies and like it's like yuck, man. I'd have a BP pie over there any day. You know, that sucks.
Was it sushi before I interrupted you? Is that what you said?
Sushi, yeah. There's no good sushi over here.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Who knew?
I know.
And L&P. There's no
L&P
in the UK.
Actually. And Whitaker's chocolate. And I'll tell you what, actually.
Oh, we'll send some over.
Musashi.
Musashi. Yes. There we go.
My beautiful mother came to visit me.
That's part of your gimmick too, right?
I know.
It's part of the gimmick. So
exactly.
Yeah, you gotta chug one of those before each match. Sam, you gotta chug one of those before each match. Is there anyone sort of in particular that when you were growing up as a 7 to 14-year-old that sort of garnered your attention in terms of in the pro wrestling world, like whoever it be it in the US, in Japan, wherever, like that you really connected to? Yeah,
I always liked John Cena. I think just, he was just the typical good guy. It's quite like he was quite cheesy. He was quite a cheesy character, but he always did what was right, and I loved that. I always connected to that, and you're a kid, I'd get so worked up because someone, JBL would be attacking John Cena. And I'd be like, he's a good guy. He didn't do anything wrong. How dare you? I'd get so worked up. And so I think, I don't know. I don't even know what I'm saying, really. I was going to say I see a lot of myself in John Cena, but that sounds quite arrogant.
No,
but I think I have some of the same traits, I guess, personality traits, maybe.
And hey, man, you definitely connected a lot and connect to the younger audience. Certainly when I would go to the events. But did you, I didn't notice sort of the back end of your run in New Zealand. There was a heelish side to your character that sort of developed specifically at the back end of your program with Horace, and really felt that you really garnered an edge with that. You never quite fully took the turn, but there was just a little bit of attitude there. Was that something that you really wanted to explore, and maybe even explore further? Because there was definitely something there, I think.
Yeah, the reason I did that is because I knew I was leaving, and I wanted to basically do my best to get anyone else over. If I could get someone else over, considering I'm buggering off. But yeah, it's something I always struggled with, to be honest. I really found it's something I wasn't used to, and I struggled, I think, to get into that or get into that character or that headspace or something. But over here, they love a foreign heel, so that people are always booking me as a bad guy, and I could never wrap my head around it because I go, "Are New Zealanders disliked over here? Like, are we? I'm not American,
Yeah.
But it works though, if they just go from New Zealand, they just go, boo. So it works. That's something I'm doing a lot over here too.
So you talked about having sort of 6 or so bookings on average per week. What does an average week look like amongst training and bookings? And I'm assuming you may need to be out there with a real job to supplement the wrestling lifestyle.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm working Monday to Friday, like a 9 to 5 job. It's an office job. It's logistics. It's really, really awesome and boring. But I do feel very privileged to have that job because that allows me to to wrestle. You know, I'm lucky. A lot of these shows are at night, obviously, so I can work during the day and go straight to a show, which is what I did last night. I'm doing the same tonight, and I'm doing the same tomorrow night. So, you know, I do feel very, you know, taking the piss about it being boring. I feel very privileged to have that job. But yeah, if I'm not wrestling, it's work Monday to Friday. I'm coaching Mondays, training Tuesdays, coaching Wednesdays, training Thursday. And then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, almost always shows on. And then sometimes there's shows, might be a show on a Tuesday, or like this week and last week, there's shows, you know, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So yeah, I'm really busy.
Well, you mentioned coaching. What do you like about that, and the enjoyment that you get out of that? Is that just sort of stemming from what was taught to you back in the day, and you know, like, could that be something that you like to experience a little bit more of moving forward in terms of developing younger talent?
Yeah, I find it hard because I never feel like I'm good enough to coach anybody. But yeah, so I coach at a school called Kapow in Southampton, and I love the students there, man. It's one of the most fulfilling things I do, I think, is seeing people come in and then being able to achieve something they didn't think they'd be able to achieve. Like, one of my rules at training is you're not allowed to say, I can't X, I can't do this, I can't do. You get, like, I tell you off, I go, that, you know, it's against the rules, don't say that. You can say, I'm struggling with this, or I don't know how to do this, but you're not allowed to say, I can't do it. And I prove it every single training, or almost every training. I'll say, all right, do this. And someone will say, I can't do it. You're not allowed to say that. What are you struggling with? Oh, I don't know how to do this. Okay, well, let's fix it. And then you show them what to do. And the biggest thing is getting them to believe in themselves, getting people to believe in themselves. Because I'm not going to, you know, obviously I never make people do anything that will get them hurt or anything like that. So it's just about people believing in themselves, really. And then when you see them achieve it, and they stand up and they've got this, they can't hide this grin they've got on their face because they didn't think they could do it, and they've just done it. There's nothing better than that.
What about I don't really want to call it the next step, but like, just in terms of a year from now, and we're kind of, it feels like we are sort of heading back into a bit of a wrestling boom, given there's a lot of places that you can work now around the world, and like you said, the UK scene is back on its feet again after, you know, NXT UK shutting down post COVID and all that. It kind of really hit the skids for a while there, and seems to be really ramping up again. Like, getting noticed, or tryouts, or getting an opportunity on a bigger show. Like, what does Sam Black want to sort of, where do you want to be in 12 months time?
Well, I didn't move myself to the other side of the planet to half-ass it. You know, I wouldn't say I have small goals. I don't know what the process looks like, really. I'm just trying to learn and get better every single day. And yeah, I hope opportunities will come along. Well, opportunities will come along. I just hope I'm ready for them when they do.
Now, your real life partner is Frankie Quinn. The two of you have been a couple for quite some time. You even held the New Zealand Championships respectively at the same time, from memory. First off, now might be a good time for me to apologise for all the things I've called Frankie Quinn in the middle of a wrestling ring in the past.
That's some bad things too, man.
But in my defense,
she'd whip that ass too, Dion.
Correct. In my defense, she always got the better of those exchanges. But on a serious note, how are you feeling finding the challenge of progressing your career and being away from your good lady?
Yeah, I think moving overseas is going to be a very difficult thing for anybody. But I think obviously moving away from my fiance, that made it the hardest thing I've ever done. And can I just say, she was so supportive. She was, I think, more supportive than I deserved. Yeah, she knew it was what I wanted to do, and she never made me feel bad. She never tried to talk me out of anything. She just supported me the whole way. So yeah, I feel even more lucky.
Hmm.
Mm.
Mm. And she was a recent visitor, I understand.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. She came over last month, and then we had a wonderful trip over to Europe. Saw a few sites over there, and just found out she's coming back for Christmas. So
Oh, get in.
even better.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Very
Yeah.
nice.
That's awesome. Is there any chance that we might see you try and book her on a show and we could see a mixed tag match between these two evil Kiwis and maybe a British couple of some sort?
That definitely sounds like a possibility. I'm definitely in talks with a couple of people about that. So
Brilliant.
it's just trying to talk her into it.
Yeah.
Well, Spartan, we always end these interviews with a 3 count. There's 3 pieces of information that we're asking wrestlers from around the world just to get to know them a little bit better. First question is, and it sounds like you're too busy for this, but what TV series are you currently watching?
I am too busy for that, unfortunately. I can tell you the last TV series I watched, if you like.
Yeah.
Right before I left New Zealand, I rewatched Breaking Bad because Frankie had never seen it. And I was telling her for years, like, oh, you got to watch this show. It's the greatest show. And yeah, like kind of when I decided I was leaving, I think she actually said it. She was like, I guess we've got to watch Breaking Bad then. And so we smashed it out. I think we watched it in about 3 weeks.
All right, number 2, describe your perfect day.
This is a tough one, man. A perfect day. I would say, honestly, man, without sounding cheesy, a perfect day for me is waking up, going to the gym unless I sleep in, going to work, and then doing whatever I'm doing after work, be it training or wrestling or whatever it is I've got on that day. Because again, it sounds so cheesy, but I'm so happy with how things are going right now. I wouldn't change a thing.
Yeah. Nice one. When your career is over, how will you define its success?
I don't think that's for me to define. I think I would listen to what other people had to say. Or maybe I wouldn't listen to what they had to say, but yeah.
Wow. That's deep. Very, very deep.
That is deep. That is deep.
Yeah.
Hey, Spartan, it's been awesome talking to you, man. Always appreciate our chats. Before we do go, how can people find you on social media?
At Spartan Sam Black. I think across the board, that's my handle on everything. So, yeah. Thank
Too
you.
easy. Nice one. Track it down. Spartan, we're so happy for you. It sounds like you're finding joy in the UK, and it feels like you're on a real good path to superstardom. It sounds like you're in the right place, hopefully at the right time, certainly with the right attitude. So we look forward to seeing more success from you. Hopefully we get to see you back on these shores sometime soon, but not at the expense of this career progression that you're on. Man, fantastic talking to you, and we wish you the very best of luck. Ladies and gentlemen, Spartan.
Thank you, guys.
Hey everyone, it's the big man Jamie Ese, and you are listening to That Sweet Pop.
Welcome back, folks. There he is, Spartan, former New Zealand Heavyweight Champion, now doing big things in the UK. I thought it was really interesting hearing Spartan talk about the mental health side of things and how the move to the UK has given him a bit more of a sense of fulfillment. It has scratched a bit of an itch. And clearly, Brad, such a pivotal part of his future development being overseas and in a place like that.
Yeah, and I think that Spartan Sam was very vulnerable in that interview, and probably let us in a little bit more than I think both you and me thought he would. So, look, I just think big ups to him for being so honest with us, and I think it's really important that people take care of their mental mindset. And we as wrestling fans have no idea what's going on in people's lives day to day. We expect this, we expect that, but yeah, I think he's got a lot of potential. Everything he does when I watch him in the ring looks like impactful, and it looks like it hurts. I think he's got a real chance to at least make a name for himself on the independent scene in the UK, and then who knows after that, Dion.
Yeah. Hey, before we move on, I just wanted to touch on this WrestleMania 42 commercial that people are wigging out about. So there was speculation in these teaser videos that it was going to be a big return. It was very interesting to see these teasers and what it actually turned out to be. So it turned out that it was Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar, and CM Punk in an advertisement for WrestleMania 42. Round the poker table, Paul Heyman and Triple H were also there. Many are not happy with the lack of diversity in this shoot. Many are happy that it's older talent in this shoot. Make of that what you will. For me, what was very interesting was this would have been a very pricey piece of marketing. It's not like these people just show up and they turn a video camera on and someone edits it and they put it out. It would have cost a lot of money to produce. Why? Because WrestleMania 42 is not sold out. I jumped onto the Ticketmaster site just before we opened up here. It looks like there's about a third of the venue yet to sell. It will sell out. That won't be an issue. I'm wondering if what we've speculated about is starting to come to fruition, that the market is now starting to indicate to TKO where the limit is on what people are comfortable to spend. I think there's probably a bit of that, and I think there's probably a little bit of an argument that the product isn't where it was prior to WrestleMania 40. If we're in the middle of the bloodline, even at those ticket prices, even in the economy that the globe is in at the moment, probably a good chance that many more tickets would have sold. To me, that's the interesting part of this whole thing. What did you make of the photo shoot? First off, I thought it looked tremendous, but what did you make of the controversy that surrounded it?
Look, I thought the teasers were leading to something not that it ended up not being. But I wasn't certainly butthurt about it, or I didn't cry on social media that they didn't give me what I wanted. I didn't know what I wanted. Was it a WrestleMania commercial? No. But, that was a decision that they made. Like you said, they've got a business to run. They got tickets to sell. So I think the social media reaction has been abhorrent. And I just, again, it's just part of this gross internet wrestling community, and like it's our side versus your side. And anyway, that's a conversation we've had before. I agree with you around the tickets, Dion, and it's interesting. Like November, December, just saw some stuff from WrestleTix, which is on social media, and they sort of post where crowd numbers are at for upcoming events. And November and December, sort of, 18,000 seat arenas where they're only seating 6,000 people, and they've only sold 3,000 or 4,000 people to those events. So that's heading into Dynamite sort of territory. So they definitely need to get hot again. I think, big events are going to have no problem selling 15,000, 16,000. It's just whether or not people are willing to part for their heart on when the cheapest ticket for a Raw or SmackDown up in the nosebleeds is US $75. That's the cheapest ticket, in the worst seat in the house. That's a lot of money, man. Like, if I lived in the US, like if the wrestling came to Auckland next week, I'd pay $75 to go, 100%. But if I lived in the US and I've been 3 or 4 times in the last 10 years, I'm probably not going to spend that amount of money unless it's a pay-per-view. So, I agree with you. Your summation is on point. I find it really interesting. That you think there's a third of the building left to sell. That's a lot, man. We're only like 5-6 months out. So you're right. It will sell out, and they'll throw cheaper prices at it. But can I throw this back at you before we get to who am I? Do you think that this is going to lead to people potentially, if WWE drop the prices, and this is where AEW sits at the moment, waiting until prices drop, and that's going to become the norm for pro wrestling fans in North America?
There will be that already. That absolutely will be happening already. I mean, I waited a little bit longer than I normally would for WrestleMania tickets. Normally I'm up at 4 a.m. buying them within the first 5 minutes of on sale. I waited a few weeks this time at least. It's not true. I probably waited about 1 week. But yeah, there will be a lot of that. Now, interestingly, I listened to Eric Bischoff on 83 Weeks this past week. They were talking about the Yeti. And they were talking about working in Huntsville, Alabama, and the fact that they had conditioned the audience to paper tickets. So, a 10,000 seat venue, they sell, I'm going to make up a number because I can't remember what it was, 1,500.
Yeah.
And the rest are given away. You go to the local burger joint and get a free ticket so that we can get people coming along to the shows.
Yeah.
That's obviously not going to happen with WWE anytime soon, but the fact that people were conditioned in those markets, that they knew that this thing was coming, that's something WWE might be getting into the territory of, when people know, hey, they're going to drop the prices. We know, again, there's a third of the building left available, and early adopters are the ones that get stung by paying full price because of FOMO, and that's okay.
Dion?
Yes.
Who am I?
Here we go.
All right. Despite football being my passion, I made my wrestling debut in 1985 after training in Florida, quickly catching eyes with my impressive physique. I became a key member of a legendary stable in the late 1980s, but my ego soon clashed with theirs. In 1988, I challenged Nature Boy Ric Flair for the NWA Heavyweight Championship in one of what was described as WCW's biggest matches of the decade.
Okay, can we pause there?
Yes.
1988. 1988.
Yeah.
Sting challenged for the World Heavyweight Championship, but I don't think he was a footballer. He was a bodybuilder.
He was.
I want to say Rugged Ronnie Garvin.
Rugged Ronnie Garvin is not correct. He challenged and won, I think, 87 maybe. But anyway, he may have fought for the title in 88, but I can't remember. All right. I later captured the United States and WCW world titles, establishing myself as one of the company's top stars by the early 1990s.
Lex Luger.
Yes.
Yeah, Lex
It
Luger.
is indeed
Lex
the
Luger.
total package, the Lex Express, whatever you want to call him. He was, at one point, the future of the business, right? Like, I think him and Sting were considered, it was the Warrior on WWE, Warrior and Hogan on one side. It was Flair, Sting, and Luger on the other, right? But never really became the guy, did he? In either promotion, was there or thereabouts. And of course, he was the guy to end Hollywood Hogan's reign very prematurely in 1997.
How
then lost
good
the title.
was that?
It was good.
That
Lost the
1
title a week
reign.
later.
It was magic. It was
magic.
magic.
Yeah, it was. That was peak WCW, right? But and then we had the Lex Express, which was Vince McMahon's sort of reincarnation of Hulk Hogan, right? As he's looking for Captain America. I actually really dig the Narcissist character. I thought he was cool, and I thought Lex Luger was lame with his US tights. And by all accounts, the rumor and innuendo, Dion, is that he was going to win the WWF Championship in match 1 at WrestleMania 10, and then Brett and Luger were going to wrestle a little bit later on in the night. But the rumor is that he had told a few people at the bar that I'm going to be world champion tomorrow. Got to Madison Square Garden, and they're like, "Sorry, mate, Yoko's going over you're winning, but by DQ." So,
What an interesting cat Lex Luger is. Was it a Dark Side of the Ring or some documentary in the last couple of years that came out, and they talked about the Lex Express and the big push of Lex Luger, and it came out that Lex was like, I don't really like wrestling that much, and I really don't like fans.
Yeah.
Which is pretty much what it came down to, right? And that behind the scenes footage where he's basically dismissing these fans because it just wasn't his thing.
No.
Yeah, it just wasn't his thing.
He's been through a lot of turmoil in his life. Of course, he was involved in the death, not like was maliciously involved in the death of Elizabeth. Of course, they were in a relationship at the time, and he lost the ability to walk, and had a lot of steroid use and what have you. But thanks to DDP and DDP yoga, he's turned his life around a little bit. By all accounts, listening to Conrad Thompson and his plethora of podcasts, Lex is sort of a very, very nice man these days. There was the Hall of Fame induction. Was it last year, Dion, or the year before? Can't remember.
I think it was last year.
He certainly appears to have come to terms with everything and doing great. And had a great physique, no doubt about it. Had a very serious motorcycle accident the day after he signed his WWF contract in 1992, which put him back for a year in terms of his debut. But I enjoyed moments of his career, including that 97 match, but never felt like he quite ascended to where he could have.
No, I think not for me, 97 WCW is where I connected with him most because he was at the forefront of the battle against the NWO, right? You had Randy Savage with that incredible program with DDP in 97. And then Luger and Luger and the Giant were together for some time, weren't they? Before the Giant jumped over or jumped back, one of those.
And they had to do a lot of work because Sting wasn't wrestling. And I think Piper was involved as well. Yeah.
This championship win, which was completely out of the blue and was a foil for a big Raw Super Show that was happening. So it was all part of the ratings war.
Yeah.
That was an incredible moment because the NWO were unstoppable. And then, picture Lex Luger with Hogan in the rack, tapping out. And Shivani, the reaction of Shivani losing and the referee, Randy
Jackson.
No. Was it Randy Jackson? No, wasn't Randy Jackson the American Idol guy?
We're
going to remember it straight after this podcast. But the look on his face when Hogan taps, but then come Road Wild, 5 days later, and Hogan's got the strap again.
But that pay-per-view, by all accounts, drew a massive number. I think sits top 4 in WCW history, that Road Wild pay-per-view, because Lex was the champ, and they drew a massive number on TV that night, as you mentioned. So. Be great one night, one show just to dive into sort of that 96, 97, 98 era of Nitro because it was fantastic programming and Nitro was literally the coolest show on TV.
Yeah, it really was. It really was. Let's give away a Tu Meke Trophy, and there seems to be only one person that we can give it to, and that is Jade Cargill, your new WWE Women's Champion. Congratulations, Jade. We spoke at length earlier on in the show about what this means for the women's division, what it means for Jade in particular. I'm really excited for her. I'm really happy for her. As I've pointed out, my chair. Where is it? See my chair? The one and only AEW show I ever went to, Row 2 at Double or Nothing in 2022. Jade Cargill had a match earlier on in the show. I was a big Jade Cargill fan at that point. And a few seats down from me was Jade Cargill's young daughter, who was probably 4 years of age. And when Jade came to the ring and pulled out the big double bicep pose, the daughter turned around to everyone in my section and said, "That's my mommy."
My mom.
How cool. So congratulations, so cool. Jade Cargill. I'm really, really fascinated and looking forward to what this women's championship reign is going to look like.
She deserves it.
She absolutely does. She really does. Brad, what's coming up?
Look, I really want to focus this week, Dion, on what's going to be a massive show this Saturday night, November 8th, or Saturday evening, 5 o'clock till 9:30 from the Four Winds Theatre at the Dewdrop Events Centre in Monaco. It is Aotearoa Showdown. And boy, oh boy, has that company put together some pretty big names for this event, Dion. There is a King of the Kiwis tournament. Names announced for that include James Shaw, Liam Erickson, Pariah is involved in that tournament as well. So look out for that. It's also going to be Jamie Tangata Ase's final match in New Zealand. Shout out to the big man who was on the show last week. And there is a Four Corners tag team match, which also includes Jack Maximum, I think it is, are involved in that. But yeah, it looks like a hell of a card that they're putting together. And Mighty Maya also will be defending her title, I believe, Dion.
Yeah. Horace is in action. I believe we're going to see Jay Rilla. It is a huge card. And as a good friend of the show, Henare said, the biggest night of New Zealand professional wrestling you have ever seen and there has ever been. So get along, get your tickets now. Dewdrop Event Centre. I'm
going to go.
That's going to be a huge, huge show. All right, folks, if you want to find out a little bit more about us, head along to www.thatsweetpop.com. Episodes drop Mondays at 8 p.m. right here on YouTube. Please like and subscribe. Or you can listen to us while you're on the Ghost, on the Ghost. I said on the Ghost. I said on the Ghost, Brad. On the go. While you're on the go on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Or you can follow us on socials on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. We are not ghosts or on the Ghost.
We're not on the Ghost.
Brad, Saturday night's main event, final thoughts?
B+.
B+.
B+
That's pretty
show.
solid.
Yeah.
That's pretty solid.
Yeah.
I'm going to go A-. I really enjoyed it. Yeah, could have had it. The shenanigans could have drawn it over the top because, again, we've been conditioned to them.
Yeah.
All right, folks, thank you so much for following us and for listening to this entire show and our ramblings on Saturday night's main event. We look forward to seeing you again next week. And until then, have a good one.
Ka kite.